Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Eddie Marcus again. A spokesman and advocate of basic human rights for all people for about 36 years, championing those things which are so wonderful about life. And having come to this point in a society that is what we have in our environment today, and I want to respond to certain things that seems to be really important to us. As a social scientist from one of the greatest institutions of higher learning in this country, Alcorn State University, I really would like to honor humanity in this opportunity to say, a Christian, you ain't. And I'm telling you these things because it is important that you know them. Everyone has created and accepted their own definition of a Christian. And what they have concluded is that there's no difference between a Christian and the world. And I'm sure if you really thought about it, you would agree. But if you ask any person anywhere in the world what they wanted out of life, the response would be peace, prosperity, and joy. If you ask what that meant, they would say it would mean food, clothing and shelter, and education if needed, health care if needed, and a dream job. Everyone wants a career. They each think like this because each has the same maker. And being made like this, they could protect one another from any problem, as well as create whatever goods and services the people needed, wanted, or desired. This is the God of all people. However, amongst this crowd are a few people that want to rule. They want to sway others off the path that was created for rule. A path of peace and prosperity and joy. For some is what they offer, and hell for others. They use money to hide behind, to hide themselves, and lure others away from the family, from the human family, into a state of selfishness. Can you imagine entertaining guests when right out in the opening, a mouse or a rat would appear, frightening the guests and embarrassing the host? The rat must go. And every effort is made to assure that this doesn't happen again. In a society where man's rule has overpowered God's rule, the Christian becomes the rat, constantly exposing the shortcomings of the rule of man. Yet, unlike the mouse or the rat, the Christian does not run. The Christian becomes the reflection of the will and the power of God, the God of human beings. Man's rule promises kill if you resist. God's rule promises to revive you for willingly walking through that door for righteousness' sake. A Christian like Jesus takes up their cross and follows. And each seed becomes a root that reaches out to multitudes of humans looking for an example. This indicates that the millions professing Christians they speak of are permitted Christians, trained rats, knowing when to come out and when to go in. The Christians of Jesus type, you ain't. What am I saying to you? I'm going to tell you this, and I'm going to tell you maybe for the last time. The world as we live in today is ruled by the anti-God spirit. It is for some, not for all. The Maker made everything for all human beings, that every human being could have their dream come true. That's what the Maker made it for. Now, in order to see that, to understand that, you must have a connection with the Creator. Now, each of us have come into this world, and all we know as far as children, our Creator is our mother and our father. And we listened to them until we got old enough to think that we were bold enough to listen to ourselves. But I don't care how bold we got. We always understood that we better listen to the law. We better listen to the system. Because if we did not, the system had something that was for us. And usually we didn't want to go that path. Many of us, however, found that that was the only path to travel, was to go that way. But because it has been something that we've been taught not to do, we never looked at the reasons why others might travel that path. We just wanted to make sure that we stayed off that path. And as we stayed off that path, we allowed certain things to happen to us. We found ourselves doing things today that we never dreamed that we would do yesterday. And here we are, knowing that tomorrow, all hell gonna break loose. But that's the world we live in. And that's all of our training has been geared toward that. All of our training has been geared toward that. But this is what you do not know. And my telling you is not going to help you to know it. But I'm going to tell you anyway. There's another power that you can't see. A power that is responsible for all creation. A power that made you and everybody else to be common as far as needs for survival are concerned. Made sure that the elements would be here to provide for that. And that each of us would have something in us that would allow us to participate in the creation of those goods and services. That Creator made it for us to happen that way. And we were all important. We all had something to do. And we created heaven on earth. And we let some liar come around and say that some of us were better than others. And they bought into it, and we followed in because they made laws that said if we didn't fall in line, we were going to be punished, and we didn't want to be punished. And so on and so forth, we've gotten this deep. But a person who is born again, a person who is born again, a person who knows that that spirit exists, a person who knows that this world exists under the dominance of the fear of death. Everything that goes on in this world is allowed to go on because of the fear of death. Nobody wants to go to war. They will go to war if somebody orders them to, because somebody has given them a greater threat of fear. But the fear of death allows this whole world to exist. But there's another world that exists. And it exists absence of the fear of death. It sees death as a door that allows the individual to walk into their dream. But now, in order for you to walk into your dream, you got to be born again. In other words, you got to know that this exists. You got to have been working towards it. You have to have been participating in trying to make what's over here come over here. And they don't like it. And they're going to get rid of you. But you don't run and hide. Go underground. A coward goes underground. You can't hide a light. Everywhere it goes, it is shown. So you stand and you let them take you out. Why? Because that's the door to get into the paradise that you speak of. These people on this hillside cannot go into paradise. Why? They're not ready for it. They can't believe in it. They don't believe in it. They have this whole world that is guiding them. But you know better. And in order to get through there, they got to kill you because you let your light shine. You can't start trying to kill them. You can't try to out devilish them. You just got to let them be devils, and you got to be representative of goodness. And you just be representative of goodness, those others who are in darkness can begin to see you. And these jokers who run this thing will kill you. And don't be running and hiding. Welcome it. That's the way out of this world. Now, I've told you something. I bet you nobody else would tell you that. But I've told you. Now, do you believe it? It's not about whether you believe it or not. It's that I've given it to you. Somebody believes it. And you know who that is? Me. Bye-bye.